What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Made Addictz, and we got a special edition for you guys because we got the founders of Intense Festival and WiSH over here, our good friends. We know each other for so many times. Remco and Tim, welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, personally doing okay.
Yeah.
Pretty busy, which you wouldn't say, of course, in this,
Yeah.
given the situation. But we'll get into that later, probably.
Yeah.
So in generally, doing fine.
Yeah.
For me, the same. Expecting a child within 3
Ooh.
weeks, so a little bit excited right
Yeah.
now. So private, everything in private is cool.
Yeah.
And the business industry is of course problematic right now. But we will talk about it.
Yeah,
the
that's
next few
why we invited you guys as well, because a lot of things going on and a lot of history with you guys.
Yeah, it's good to hear that given the circumstances, you guys are doing fine.
Yeah.
We always start the episode with the same question, and it is, how do you got addicted to music in general or hardstyle music? So we would like to hear from you guys. What got you addicted to dance music?
For me, it's partly personally, partially intertwined with like the origin of our events, I think. In the 90s, the early 90s and halfway of the 90s, I listened a lot of hardcore. There was no hardstyle back then yet.
Yeah.
So I was a hardcore fan and really liked it. And then later on, in the end of the 90s, we started to throw a lot of parties, mainly parties for our friends and stuff. Parties with free entrance and free drinks, which got out of hand a little bit. Later, we learned a lot from that later on.
Yeah.
But and that was all kind of musics put together. It's like party music and dance and whatever was available. And then later we started with Intense, and we really started focusing. And also before that, we had some indoor parties for our first parties in the 2000s, where people could really buy a ticket for maybe like €2.50 or something. And then we really focused on production, a show and stuff. And that was also the time that Hardstyle came up, and that resonated really well with what we liked with the show and building, like the feeling of an event. And a lot of other people liked it as well. So that's kind of how that grew very quickly. And that's how we got, and I personally got into the music as well.
Yeah, because that worked together. Like you heard the music and you were already giving parties. So you found that the music was a good guidance to the events you want to work with.
Yeah. For instance, for one of the first edition of Intense in 2004, we had like a lineup which progressed. So it started with, and it was on the main stage. We only had one stage, so it was a main stage automatically in the tent, and progressed from more house to tech house, hard trance, and it ended with kind of like the early hardstyle, what you would consider harder styles. And we really noticed that the vibe was the best at the end, when there was the most energy, and also our lights. We were already then focusing on a lot of lasers and a lot of show elements, and that complemented really well. And that was like, wow, this is really cool. And so we started doing more, and then later on developed more specific harder styles concepts. And at first it was like the first hardstyle concept fusion. First was on Intense Festival, was a separate area, and later became a separate event. But that concept overgrew quickly all the other stuff, so it was suddenly like booming.
Yeah, because you guys both give a festival in Noord-Brabant, which is a province of Holland. Do you think, particular for that area, the harder styles in dance music is one of the top genres?
Yeah, definitely. I think still, and then especially in those times as well, it very quickly became the most popular music style for young people, especially to listen to.
Yeah. And what about you, Tim?
Well, I started organizing festivals in 2007, and at that time I was more of an all-round guy, I think, listening to all kinds of music. And from that point on, in 2007, we had the same sort of lineup, one stage, with starting with house music, tropical house, and then we were working up to trance, which at that point of time was still cool, and maybe right now also, but now it's maybe more like nostalgic or classic or whatsoever. It's not biggest mainstream thing, so still like to listen trance, of course, but at that point of time was way bigger, right? So and we ended also with hardstyle, or at least the latest hours we ended with more harder styles of music, because one of the legendary icons at that time was Sani. He's from my hometown, so we did book him for our first festival at that point of time, and we even did close the festival with some sort of hardcore at that point of time with DJ Vince.
He's also from the same area,
right? It was really heavy stuff. But from that point of time, I got really enthusiastic, also because of the same reasons Remco mentioned, because it's a energetic feeling. It gives you really good vibe. It's really cool to organize shows on it with the lights, the fireworks, and everything. So from that point of time, I was really addicted to hardstyle.
Cool. But how do you start as an event company? Like, is it just like you mentioned, you want to throw a party for your friends, or did you see something that that wasn't there?
Yeah, and then in the beginning, also I guess we have some sort of the same story, but we came from a real small town. I guess 10,000 people, so it's nothing. It's really boring, especially in the weekends. So together with some friends, we decided to throw a party, and we did call the government or the mayor. We tried to call him, and he did pick up the phone. So we were like shocked, because we were more like bluffing, like we want to throw a party. And from that point of, we went to the government house to do a presentation, and we told it's really important for people in our age to stay sometimes at your place, make people proud of where you come from, and also have something to do for our generation. And he was really enthusiastic about it. He gave him some small money. At that point of time, we were also students. We hadn't had money to organize a festival. And besides, the government did give some money. We went to the Rabobank and Bavaria, the brewery, of course. We had a big stake in it, and we got some money to organize the festival. So we were students at that point of time with no knowledge at all how to organize a festival. And the crazy thing is that 1 year later, or half a year later, we organized the first edition of WiSH with almost 2,300 people about in 2 days. The first day house DJs and hardstyle, of course, and the second day was more of a everybody can visit our festival style. Doesn't matter which age you are, with a lot of bands. So that was the first time, actually.
Crazy. I think we were already on the second edition, right? So
I guess
the first
so.
one, but the second one.
It was a long ride, 14 years ago. So we had a lot of bookings of D-Block and Esther. Special kind of thing. So really, really cool.
And do you guys really feel that the citizens of both small cities or even villages are super proud of the festival and everything around it? Do you like are you guys must be almost like celebrities in your hometowns? I mean, it's Intense grew to such a big festival. WiSH the same. I mean, 10,000s of people, every day on the festival. It must be something that the people are proud of.
Yeah. Well, celebrity is a bit too far-fetched, but I can still do groceries in our own time. Takes a bit longer sometimes, maybe, but
free tickets.
Yeah.
Free tickets.
But it is very embedded in the community, and we work from the earliest moment on, and up till this day, we also work with a lot of volunteers. So a lot of people from the town either volunteer, or they visit themselves, or they're maybe older and their kids visit. So a lot of people have something with it. We also support the community. We support a lot of, for instance, the local soccer club, but also the local elderly home, and all different kinds of in the community. So there's a lot of ties, and we work with like a lot of companies. We have a lot of local, we call them partners, or sponsors, but they come to our festival to network. So there's a lot of engagement with the community. And besides that, we also invest a lot of time in communicating with people living around the festival. So there's like 1,200 houses we approach with information and stuff, and we invite them to come along and give them a tour at the festival grounds before the event, so during the build-up and stuff. So and that long relations with everybody in the community really, makes up people are really enthusiastic about it. They're really proud about it, and happy with the festival. Of course, not everybody. You always have people who don't like the noise or have something.
Yeah.
But I think that 99% of people from the Oosterwijk, municipality of Oosterwijk, are really supporting the festival. So that's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's not really like a normal thing when, for example, your city is like existing of 10,000 people, and then for one weekend there's 90,000 people in the village. You know, I mean, I can understand that some people think like, oh, it's a bit heavy, but it's cool to hear that you guys do so much to get the support and also have the people really proud and enthusiastic about the festivals. Because I mean, I cannot understand how you cannot be, because it's, I mean, so insane what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. Do you also think that's the strength behind your festivals? Like, for example, you started out because there was nothing really to do. We're from the city and there's plenty of stuff to do, but we don't have a big festival like that. And there's always has been a special ambiance, a special feeling on both of your festivals. It's the thing that people are really looking forward to. For once a year we have something, and it's such a small village, but the atmosphere is different, I think, compared to the city. Do you notice that too, or?
I'm not sure, but I guess because you live in a small village, you know a lot of people, of course. It's more dynamic with partying within big groups. More people are attached to each other, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess it also brings a little bit of special vibe into the festival for other people who are coming to visit the festival itself, from wherever they come from. But I guess with maybe also the North Brabant special thing, a little bit the coziness, sometimes a Polonaise will brings a little bit of a special vibe into festivals.
Yeah. But I really noticed that too, when as an artist, when we come to your festivals, you have a different kind of energy. It feels like, you're part of the family. Kind of so you're entering as an artist. It's always like, oh yeah, if we want to stay somewhere, it's over there, you know. No gigs.
There's some sort of openness. I guess we both like to welcome people at our festival, but also everybody who's involved at the festival. So for suppliers or sponsors till artists, again, I don't know exactly the date anymore. I guess 2010 or something. We recognized your birthday at our festival, so we brought the big appelflapper. So the English name, sorry.
Apple flap.
Apple flapper. So they were gigantic. So we like to give everybody some sort of warm bath when they come to the festival, and hope it will spread. And everybody enjoys the festival a little bit more because of it.
Yeah, because the people don't know, but when we come at your guys' festivals, there's always an artist barbecue where you and your friends who are joining you to the party can enjoy a barbecue. There's always like a small artist village or an artist town where you gather around and where you can sit and you can enjoy the festival from a more calmer perspective, but also enjoy the festival for the moments you want to. And I think that really helps artists to get the best out of their show as well, because it feels like they're almost at home and in a comfortable situation where they can perform their best. Is that something you guys are really focusing on as well?
Oh, yeah. Well, what you mentioned and it kind of complements what Tim says. I think it's back to how we started as well, because you really want to do a great event and you're doing it for the love, and then everybody who is involved with it Might be a supplier, might be a DJ, might be somebody who is placing fences somewhere which are important for the festival. You want to give them the best treatment you can. And that's something we did in the beginning and we still do now and really focus on. For instance, with the artist barbecue and treating artists very well, because we are happy when you come and play at our events, but also if you are happy at that very moment, you give your, just a little bit better performance. Exactly. And the same thing goes with, for instance, the people who are working behind the bars. If they come and we have like a nice entrance for them, we have a nice crew catering, we give them all kind of extras, like a special meal before or during, and all kind of things to make them very happy to be there. And then they might be like behind the bar radiating happiness, and they're like, oh, we want this, we are looking forward to helping everybody. And if they smile to the people who are getting their drinks, they show that happiness as well. And the same thing with all the crew and the technical people. If you treat them very well and something's going on during the build-up and stuff, and you have some setback because some storm knocks something over or whatever, there's always something happening during the build-up. So, and they give their best, and they're like, okay, it doesn't matter, we work into like the evening or the night, we get it fixed. All small parts of like a big thing that makes it a bit different, or just a bit, overall a bit better atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, because I think there's not many people, and I also think that it's not really necessary for them to know what comes by giving a festival, because there's so many for you guys to do, like government, what you say, like the build up, like things you cannot expect, like storm or hot weather or whatever, what are some of the heaviest things you guys experience during your festivals?
How long is this podcast?
There's so many things
that people have no idea of, but that gave you guys, like, that costed you guys 10 years of your life.
Okay, yeah, of course, always the show must go on. So we prepare almost 1 year for a big event. And the last 3 weeks, we start constructing at the festival site. So it takes us 3 weeks to build all the enormous stages, the light, everything you need to organize the festival. So, I guess we had some pretty big hits. Almost every year something happens, but one of the biggest are the World Championship, the Netherlands. Most of the time we suck a little bit, but in, I guess, 2014, they played the World Championship in Brazil. And we came to the quarterfinal or the final before. We played against Costa Rica. But we did know that the Netherlands went to the quarterfinal just 1 week before, because they had to play against Mexico. And because of a Swalbe of Robben, they won. I guess it was not a Swalbe, but the Mexicans still think it was a Swalbe, of course.
No era penal.
Exactly. So within a week, we had to reschedule our whole program. All the big DJs we had to move because it was at prime time, 10 o'clock in the evening. We had to move all the DJs. We had to get extra LED, because in the Netherlands, when we are successful, everybody wants to watch football, of course. So at all stages, we had to send out the football sometimes during the show, but also we had to quit the show and move DJs up and down. We had to inform everybody, because a lot of questions from people who want to enter the festival. Are you going to send out the football? Are you going, where are you going to show it? And it takes a lot of energy within also the busiest weeks you already have. So we were working day and night to make it happen. And the thing was that it was one of the most boring games ever. It was 0-0, 90 minutes. Then we had extra time.
Yeah.
It started to rain. You were actually there.
Yeah.
First
it started to rain.
Deck, eating bitterballen. Again, Dutch word, sorry. But then after the extra time, it was actually penalties. Started to drowse a little bit again. And I was really anxious about the result, because if Costa Rica won the penalties, I guess we had some big problems with everybody really
being down,
crowd,
wanting to go home.
exactly.
no party
Yeah.
mood again, and it was raining, so I guess was problematic for us. But the final goal, we even had a film or
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
we can show it on
Yeah.
show it.
for the viewers.
For the viewers, yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
insane.
the excitement when
It's
the
a bit
last
small for you guys.
when the last penalty came in was
yeah, it was the last penalty. You see the atmosphere on the stage. It's the stage we are filming.
Insane, everybody screaming. And dancing in the middle. With the backstreet.
yeah, and after that you guys probably had the best last 2 hours of the festival ever.
It was the best 15 minutes or something, because we only had half an hour to go because of the extra time and the penalties and all the things in between. We had the two DJs. We did book them for 90 minutes set, and we had to cancel them for 50 minutes. Of course, during the game, the beer or the consumptions were declining a lot because
Nobody
it was
drinks.
a 0-0. Yeah, if you,
Everybody was sitting down and just watching.
and just watching was really, really problematic. So yeah, that was one of the first exhausting things we had with a festival.
Wow.
And for you, Remco, what do you think?
Well, yeah, we had many things. Like 2012, we had like weather, like things that we had to change the stage at the last moment because one other stage was kind of flooded and stuff. And then later in 2015, that was like a thing that really like was difficult to deal with at the moment. Was like there was a big storm coming from France, big thunderstorm. And then we had to like evacuate the campsite. It was on a Friday, so it was not on a Saturday or Sunday yet, but we had a campsite which was filling up. And at a certain point in time, we had to close the campsite and tell the people who were still on their way over to not come or wait. And the people who were already there, we decided to evacuate them to a sports facility close by. So we had to go take all the people and just walk out of the festival grounds, walk like a few kilometers into the sports, like the sports arena. It's also the same place where we had our fusion event, so we already knew the location. And in the meantime, organize everything over there. So we put a DJ booth in there, put food and drinks and everything, and toilets and everything, bring it over there, and then if people were in there for several hours. And at first we thought it would be like a short moment in time, but at that moment, the government takes over. So they're like, we're in a temporary control center. So the COPI, they call that in the Netherlands. And then they're kind of calling the shots. So you don't really have control over the situation. But they said like, yeah, we want to make sure and want to keep them in there for like quite some hours. So it's pretty a big thing. So we were lucky, and DJs who came over had to play. They went directly to there. So they started playing there, and it ended up to be like a big party in the the sports arena. And then a few hours later, the festival ground, the storm was over. We had to rebuild some stuff because some stuff was collapsed, and a lot of people's tents were wet. And in the meantime, while we were doing the evacuation, another part of our team was also already going to companies to buy up tents and sleeping bags and stuff. And everybody who had like a wet tent or a sleeping bag was wet, we gave them for free. Like, here you have a tent so you can stay. So people were like extremely happy about it. But that time was like a very intense moment.
Very intense.
I can imagine. These are just some examples of what you guys like have to cope with during the weeks or the days prior to a festival. It should be so hectic. It wouldn't be for me. I would lose my shit, I think.
Yeah, you have to be really creative in that way to find solutions and all. We were talking before the broadcast about, I think, a couple of years ago when it was so bad weather before WiSH. It was like a week of total rain, storm, and all.
It was 2016. It was like the worst weather in 100 years in the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, always bad weather, but this time it was the worst. So we had 3 weeks of rain during the construction of the festival site. But it's just a meadow normally where cows graze and everything. So we have to build some sort of small city for all those people we invite, but also for the backstage people who are working at the festival site. But there was actually no grass anymore. Everything was mud. and we had to work 24 hours straight. With, I guess normally we have working like at 500 till 1,000 people during those constructions times and during the festival, and we had to bring extra people. I guess 200 people extra each day to get the festival happen. We had like 10 farmers with big tractors.
Tractors with big tanks.
They with big tanks to get the water out of the fields and bring it back again, dump it, and come back in. And it was insane how wet it was. Normally we have like 10 acres of parking spaces for buses, also for people who come with car or campsite. And there was no parking space at the Friday. But at Friday we started the festival, so we had to change up everything. We had to hire extra buses to different kind of concrete locations where you can safely park your car. But then we have to put up a new system, a new signing system for your traffic. So ridiculous amount of energy spent on negative things. And the only thing you want to do is give people the best day of their lives when you come to a festival, and then you get all those extra free shit to clean up. So it takes a lot of time, energy, gives you sometimes gray hair or you lose your hair, whatsoever.
No pun intended.
This was 2012. This was
And I remember the day because I think we played on Friday and Saturday, and on Saturday it was like 36 degrees. It was
the year before.
That was the year before.
Yeah, that was the year before. So 2014 with the World Championship. 2015 was like 40 till 45 degrees, and was also the second year we did organize a festival in Mexico. So we were used to hot temperatures, and that people are able to party as hard as ever at those extreme temperatures. But for Netherlands it was a little bit extreme. So we did build a whole festival site, and 2 days before the festival they told us it was not possible to organize the festival because it was getting too hot and people would die, and etc. etc. So you can understand that if you are busy with organizing the festival a whole year and all your money is on the table actually, and you want to organize the festival, we were sold out 4 weeks before the festival started. So it was really, really frustrating that somebody will walk in at your festival site and telling you it's not going to happen. And then you start going into some sort of survival modus. Why can't we organize? At the same time, there were a lot of big festivals around us because in the Netherlands or Belgium, there are like 5 festivals each week. And we were the only one told that we couldn't organize the festival. So with a lot of pressure from our team, with a lot of extra measurements, we had to do crazy stuff. We had to call people that they couldn't come to the festival at 2 o'clock, but at 5 o'clock. After the sun starting a little bit to get down, but it gives you 3 hours of less income. We had to give away free water. We have to do discount on water. We had to do a lot of things to let the festival happen. And eventually after the festival, it was the best year ever at the medical aid. There were no people who did die or whatsoever at that kind of thing. So it's a little bit frustration sometimes that external factors can make your festival a winner, like make it a 9 or a 10 instead of being a 6 or a 7. And you can do nothing about it, actually. Yeah,
like you said, if Holland didn't win that penalty series, then people would be really disappointed because of that. But also sitting in the shitty weather for 2 hours, and now they couldn't care less because Holland won and everybody was in a good vibe, you know.
Exactly, it's only one penalty, and you have the best vibe or the worst vibe, and those kind of things are, of course, not really good things for something you prepare a year for.
Well, you already mentioned you guys are doing WiSH in Mexico. I think if I have to make a shift between you two festivals, is that you guys in Holland are more of a festival where people mostly from the area, but also of course from out of Holland are coming. But Intense has been growing the last couple of years a lot with foreigners. There are many foreigners coming to Intense. How do you think that developed? Because you guys were first really like a regional festival, but you grew out to be a more and more international event.
Yeah, it's not that there's so many foreigners. It's still mainly Dutch people coming, but there's more and more interest from people abroad who want to come to the festival. Of course, on the campsite, there's like a little bit more foreigners because you can stay there for multiple days. And if you fly over from who knows where, it's like, of course, great to stay the whole weekend. It's always great to stay the whole weekend, though. But, but I think, because of the things we do, the stages recreate the vibe, and all the movies we bring out, like, for instance, after movies and stuff, they start circulating more and more in foreign hardstyle communities, and they get picked up. It was kind of funny, like a few years ago, I saw like a little article in Chile, in the Chilean site, and it talked about Intense, and the first edition was 2014, and so I emailed the guy, like it's not 2014, the first edition was 2004. And he was like, oh, well, in Chile you're known since 2014. Like, okay,
yeah.
But then you see more and more interest coming, and a lot of, and also in Europe, like a lot of Belgium, and lately more and more Germans are interested in the event.
Well, I gotta say, for both of your festivals, if people are watching, just please come visit WiSH or Intense, because it's really beautiful. You can see, we just you guys gave us a present. It's really beautiful. You can see the beautiful stages for Intense and WiSH. I think that's also a thing. You both have really beautiful stages that stand out really well. Like, you guys are always with some kind of animals and but really realistic, and you guys always like really colorful, like a big circus and all. But how do you come up with stages or designs, or do you guys have a theme where you work with?
We start with drinking a lot of beer, and then we think about a lot of crazy stuff. But yes, when the festival is, for example, for us in July, we start the process again in August or September, and then we have a lot of brainstorm sessions about what should be the theme, and around the festival, what should be the stages, and which area should be which kind of thing. And for us, it's the main thing, of course. The main stage is the thing where you celebrate at the end of the festival, the big fireworks shows, and bringing people together and close up to watch together or listen together to the end show. So the main stage should be really important, should be, in our opinion, should be something with a soul, which we can use into beneficial things, that it actually is something that you can feel within. You can enjoy the sound, of course, and you can watch to the shows. So it should be something we can use in extremis on all those kind of points to trigger every emotion from people. So for us, it's really important, also because we are organizing the festival just in a meadow. It should be something spectacular. People don't expect when they go to the festival, and when they're actually at the festival, they should be surprised, and they can some sort of discover the stage during the days with different kind of acts, of course, but also different kind of intros and shows, etc.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, for us, we've already been working with themes for a long time, since 2009. Natural Insanity, the first one.
Yeah.
And the process is, we'll really start out, usually me and some other creative person start out way before, even more than a year before. So sometimes before the event. So soon we start thinking about 2022 for the next theme, and really make an extensive mood board, because we want the theme to be fitting in everything. It's not just the stages, but also like the entertainment should fit in really well with it. The clothing of the people, all the different stages have to be like in a sub theme. The other stages on the festival, the shows, the intros, the anthem, and the whole process towards like the event and then also afterwards have to fit in like perfectly. And it's pretty difficult. So you have to think out before, like in a mood board can be like 50 pages long with all the different elements in there. Like this, we're going to do it this way, this we're going to do this way. And then you start the process with a lot of creative people and also the designers, the graphic designers, the show designers, the stage designers. We have a lot of meetings and then slightly things evolve. And sometimes some of the ideas in the mood board are great and they're just implemented. And sometimes you're like, this doesn't really work. And then you have to take it out and bring something new in, and it's like an iterative process. And very often we get like stage designers making beautiful, designs, and then you start working it out technically, and then you're like, okay, looks really nice, but it might be not financially possible, or technically possible, or planning wise. So and very often we push ourselves to the limits. So there are a lot of years where at a certain point we wanted to make something, we didn't know how to do it. So we worked on it to the last moment, and at the very last moment we found a solution to make something like a helmet or a face or a head or something. Oh, this is the way we're going to do it. And then we kind of finished it. So it's also very a race against the clock very often.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And what do you guys feel is the most challenging part of your job? You know, like what is the thing that always costs the most energy towards a festival? Well, what is the most difficult thing?
Well, the thing with the theme, the technical part, and bringing the stage alive is very daunting, and it's very challenging. But it's also very, really great to work on. It's something that gives you energy as well. And the other part that's pretty challenging is all the stuff with the permits, rules, and regulations and stuff. It depends on the event, depends also on the location. But for Intense, we have to put in the plans for the permit 11 months before the event. That means you have to have your plans ready before that.
Yeah.
And those are like, if you see the permits are like this big a stack of paper with all different kind of plans where people really wouldn't think about, like, of course, safety plans and regulations, but we also do stuff like nitrogen calculations for there's something in the Netherlands for nature reserve areas, and all kind of research of if there's some kind of bird somewhere you have to protect, and there's so much go around there, and that takes up really a lot of time, and also a lot of time to discuss with all the different governmental departments from the municipality, but also a little bit higher organizations who look into how the event is organized, and that's something that takes also like a year of a lot of work.
And did that change a lot, like during the years? Because, like you said in the beginning, you got the government, the mayor, and he even gave you guys some money to start off with.
Exactly.
And nowadays you have to deliver them.
Yeah, I think the whole industry did get more professional, of course. And about safety and regulations, you had to do more to make better festivals. And I guess right now we're at a really one of the best points, I guess, if you check out in the world about festivals. I think Netherlands and Belgium are the key players, I guess. It's not only for artists, but also for the festival organizers and all the suppliers around it, is that we getting pretty famous for it. So it's actually also a good thing that you get challenged every year to improve your plans, to do it better, to be more safe, to etc. It's not always pleasant, but because there's also a lot of competition, you have to check out all the competition and you can improve your plans, of course. So I guess for us the most challenging thing is that you have the biggest ideas, of course, but you have a limited amount of money to make it happen. So of course everybody wants to have the best lineup and you want to make the best and biggest stages, but it's not always possible. Sometimes we have the most craziest ideas. We can't implement them maybe that year specifically, but maybe we will do it in the future. So for us, it's always challenging to make the best festival you can make within the amount of budget you have organizing the festival.
Because I think for people it's also difficult to imagine, because they feel like they pay a premium price for festival tickets because the prices grew a lot during the years. but you guys' expenses also grew a lot, right? So it's people would say, "Oh yeah, there's 30,000 people coming. We paid this amount of money. There's so much money, and everybody's making so much money. Crazy, crazy, crazy." But if to hear from you guys what all is behind a festival
and all the risks.
and it's not something you just do. It's like you have to work a year to get the festival done with all the government regulations, all the stuff that you have to do for safety, for everything that comes around. It's a big stack of work.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's good for people to know as well.
Yeah, it's really important. Like, for example, we know each other for many years already, and we even don't know what's all behind it, you know. Tim, I got a question for you. Like, how was it for the first time to host an event in Mexico?
Yeah, very special, of course. It was a kind of coincidence that we made the project happen there. So first time we did organize WiSH Outdoor. It's in the northern eastern part of Mexico, of course, in Monterrey. Yeah. Really cool city. Some sort of weird American cowboy vibe around it because it's near the border of America or the USA. And special town, I guess in the agglomeration around it, like 4 million people live there. And we were one of the first festivals over there from Europe.
Yeah.
We only had 2 stages. First of all, we had the main stage with house EDM music. And the second stage was, of course, a hardstyle stage because the Netherlands is pretty famous about that part. And we walked into a lot of challenges, of course, once again. A different kind of culture. Everything is a little bit more tranquilo mañana. So we had to work really hard to make the festival happen at that point of time. But it did happen, and people were amazingly enthusiastic about it. Yeah. Like one of the best crowds in the world are the people in Mexico celebrating 10 times harder than maybe all the other people in the world. So it was a really special thing the first time, and we learned a lot. So of course, every time you evolve, you do a lot of evaluations after the festival. And right now we started also with 4,000 or 5,000 people, I think. Yeah. It was a 2-day festival at that point of time. And right now it's like 55,000 people at just 2 stages. Yeah. 1 day.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You've been yourself.
Yeah. We've been on and maybe fun story to tell. The first edition, we went there as well, and we played there on the Hardstyle stage. But there was like a big storm coming, and also around, like in Mexico, in that area, there are like big storms.
Again, storm.
Plenty of times.
All those storms.
All those
so
storms. Yeah, and I think Nervo, they had to play. They were supposed to close the main stage. And but they couldn't come because of the storms. They weren't allowed to fly. And I think you guys said to us, guys.
Yeah, it was 2015. It was the year where we started like also doing music as DBSTF.
Yeah.
And we had Beautiful World, and we had some songs out. And
yeah. You guys said, do you want to close the main stage with some house and some hardstyle? We were like, oh shit, okay, let's do it. And it was unfortunate that Nervo couldn't make it because they're really popular over there. But that was such a crazy experience as well. And the year after, I think we made the anthem. Yes. And it was also first time ever that we did 2. We made a hardstyle anthem as D-Block Estefan, and we did a house anthem as DBSTF.
Yeah. Everything changed.
Everything changed.
Yeah. With also, from our side, a lot of stressful moments, because in that period where we were making the hardstyle anthem, that was right after the show in Mexico, WiSH Mexico, where we played the house anthem for the first time. Yeah. You broke your collarbone.
Yeah.
Was it because of the drinking, or?
No, it was just.
It was the tequila, I think.
I was playing football and I broke it. Yeah. Yeah, and we had to. Yeah, I couldn't. Oh yeah, we had to finish the anthem, but I couldn't do produce anything because I was like this for a whole week because I broke it really bad. Yeah, 3 weeks.
And actually, the same year you've played on your own on Intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't play. It was the same time. Yeah.
One of the Yeah.
he's not coming. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't really move. It was such a big, because my bone was sticking out of my arm. I broke it on 3 places, and they made a judgment call, but they made a kind of a mistake, because they say, it's all right, you can go home. And I was going home, and I was like, doesn't feel good. I was craving for pain. I went back after, I think, 5 days. And then the doctor said, "Oh my God, you have to be in surgery right away." I'm like, "Yeah, I told you." It was sticking out. Well, anyways, yeah, that's why I missed Intense. Oh, that was so.
Stefan did okay. Though.
Yeah. Of
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really and for you guys, I think we made the first anthem of Intense Festival ever.
Yeah, Magical Mystery.
Magical Mystery. Wow,
really
that's how many years ago?
2011.
So
9
Almost
years.
10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Oh, we're getting old.
Almost 10 years ago. I saw the video clip, and we were so young.
Yeah.
in the forest with
Yeah.
the witch and Michael Villain.
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, we also did the Ultimate Celebration
2018.
2
Yeah,
years
2 years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard that's one of the best streamed
Most streamed Intense anthems, I guess, on Spotify.
on Spotify. Well, that's
Yeah, it's really and also the music video on our YouTube is also one of the best
Best watched.
watched
Wow.
of the anthems.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
really cool.
yeah. Well, it was so special. So, like we know each other for so many years, like I said, and you always give us a lot of, confidence and faith in us. Like, if you want to make us an anthem for you guys festival, it's a big thing, an anthem for a festival. How do you choose the artist? And I think it's also a scary process, because you really don't have a clue what they're gonna make, so.
Yeah, that's it's also a challenging process, but also one you have to have a lot of confidence into the artist you request for the making the anthem at that point of time. And I always start with a good idea in September or October, and everybody's okay. We will finish up the anthem in 1 month or 2 months, and then we can do some edits and scripting and marketing, promotional about it, and then always ends up like having some sort of race, finishing the anthem on time. How we ask for artists, it's just also a creative process. Which team do you have? Who do you think fits? Who's relevant? Who do you have a good connection with? Also the creative connection to work together on an anthem, because we also think it should be some sort of open process between the organizers and the artists. So whoever is open for it, and we think is one of the biggest or attractive artists or new talents for that year, we ask. That's more kind of how we approach that kind of thing. And we are lucky to have a lot of good artists saying yes, of course. One of them, you guys, which was extraordinary, of course, because we did the house anthem and also the Hardstyle anthem, which was really cool.
Yeah, as an artist, it's also really challenging to make an anthem, because there's so much going on around a theme or a festival, a name. It's like the holy grail of that festival, and to create something that fits the whole theme and the whole name, and the whole vibe. It gives you more pressure in the studio than you normally have, where you just go in and be creative. So that's why for example, with the Ultimate Celebration, like we were in the studio the first day, and we were like, the Ultimate Celebration. We didn't know how to work with that into
a hook or
as a hook, or to implement that in a song. So after a day, we just called you guys and said, like, listen, we maybe gonna work around it and make it something like celebrate the day in the ultimate way, and then we have a cool hook to implement the theme, but also be cool and have something catchy, and sometimes it falls into place really soon, but sometimes you also feel like, what are we gonna do with this, And
then it's gonna be a race.
Yeah,
against the clock.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's the challenging part about. But it's also a fun way to work. You know, you guys think differently compared to us, and also you guys are really creative because of your festival. So it's a fun, collaboration. I always think to do an anthem, but you gotta have that connection, otherwise it won't work. And that's
it's a creative dynamic process, and that makes it very interesting.
But I also think like you can control so much for you guys, but an anthem really sets the tone for a festival, so it has to be pretty scary as well. What you receive for the first time.
It is, because like you say, we can plan most of the stuff exactly, make the shows how we want them, make the stages exactly how we want them, and everything down to the minute or like the millisecond timed. But the anthem is kind of a black box, and it depends. Different artists work in different ways. Some artists really involve you in the process, so you kind of know where it's going, you can guide it. And some other artists are more like, I will make the anthem until it's kind of finished, and then I'll show it to you, or I'll let you listen to it. And then you're really waiting, and the time ticks on, and it's like a one important piece of the whole puzzle. You don't know about what it's going to be, and then the first time you listen to it, and obviously always when you listen to something for the first time,
it's also
has to fall in place. And some people can listen to it and like, okay, this is going to work, and some other people, because I always also let my team, like the other people, hear it, and some people have difficulty with listening to something which is new, so they're like, but I like last year's better. But after you listen to it multiple times and then visualize the show and visualize all the people going crazy on the anthem, then it starts to fall into place. And then, up until now, it always fell out. The corner fell on the right way, is that to say? But but it is pretty scary sometimes.
Hey, we've been already mentioning that it was quite challenging sometimes for you guys to do a festival. But at least there was a festival. Now, this year, you guys both have to cancel the festivals because of the whole COVID situation. Postpone, yeah. That's a better word to say it. How did you guys cope with that?
Good question. And it was really hard because we were already in the process of working half a year, 3/4 of a year into making the festival happen. So we were at the point of time, March, we were almost ready to announce all the artists, our whole lineup, and we had the promotional thing, marketing thing, everything ready, the trailers, teasers, the billboards, everything. And then at that point of time, we had to cancel the festival. So it was really big disappointment. We had to rethink everything, the process, how we could work with the team. The future was unknown, so we had to cancel everything. There was a lot of tension going on with all kinds of different suppliers, of course. Should we continue? Should we quit? How much did you do for the job at that point of time? So should we pay for it? So really difficult and challenging time. But because we had a lot of rough times in the past, we were able to cope with it. And we after 1-2 weeks, we tried to be really positive about it. We did cancel the festival. We didn't have that much refunds from people, so almost everybody did keep the ticket for that year, both in Mexico and the Netherlands. And right now we are busy with the preparation for next year. So we're not sure if next year will be happening, but right now we should start with the preparation already, because if it could happen, or everybody is
you need to be ready.
We need to be ready. So right now we're into the process of organizing a 2021 edition. And it should be way better than last year, of course, or not last year, 2019. So, or what we were preparing for 2020.
Do you also feel like it takes more energy out of you than it would normally have done, because now you have to prepare for 2 years, so it takes 2 years of your time for one big explosion of energy you get back from the people. So it probably drains a lot of energy out of you as well.
Yeah, of course, organizing a festival, during the festival, you also can enjoy the festival to the fullest at point of organizing the festival, into the latest minutes of the festival at least. So for me, the Sunday last 15 minutes of the end show are every thing went smooth, everybody was happy, and I can enjoy the festival. And those 15 minutes give me the best kick ever, or the adrenaline to continue organizing festivals once again. So you need that energy and kick for 1 year to organize it again. And right now, you acknowledge some sort of loss in energy to go for organizing a festival, of course, because you have to wait 1 year again. And you miss that kick, adrenaline. You miss the people you work with, the volunteers, the suppliers, everything. It's more like some sort of perfect storm, or somewhere it's really calm, dull even.
And also really unsure, because you have no idea if the people you work with normally are working in the industry next year again, or
of course, our maybe Remco can talk more about it, but our everybody in the event branch, of if it's an artist or it's a event supplier or the festival organizer itself, or people who come to help for free, everybody's so passionate about organizing the best festival together. And right now that feeling is gone, and it's devastating because of there's no future right now. So I guess with all the people working in the event branch, maybe sometimes we have to communicate more about that we want some future or perspective, what we can expect, both for the visitors but also for the whole branch, which we could be really proud of, because we're top notch, I guess, in the Netherlands. Not only artists, but everybody involved, even the toilet guy who does amazing things, organizing a whole festival when you have 50,000 people attending. Also, that should be working perfect. So, I guess that's the big question for everybody. But the only thing to do is staying positive and try to push the government, for example, or inventors or ourselves to be flexible with the situations. Think about smart applications. Think about fast testing. Think about
solutions to just what can we do to make it work instead of
it's not possible.
It's not possible. And I think as a personal level, because I really miss a vision a lot of times, and just where are we going with it? I think we all understand measures that it needs to be done, it needs to be contained or contained, and but there's no, for me personally, like, our industry is so important and we're all in this together, but we're not very vocal, I think.
We're not that organized as some communities or some sort of branch like the metal branch, or
they have a lot of people in Den Haag permanently to lobby and stuff. It's like some people have like 40 people permanently in Den Haag, and the event branch, the event industry doesn't have that. So
but I also think that I think the general opinion about artists or events or whatever is that people think, they made so much money, they're last to complain. People think it's not really an industry. They just think, they're all millionaires and they have nothing to complain. I'm first because I'm missing a lot of this or that and anything. I think that also doesn't help for our scene, because like there was an initiative of artists which I didn't agree on. Saying I'm not gonna participate anymore, which they softened up after that. But it generated some attention, but not to a point where there was actually coming an idea of where to go, like a roadmap or something, for events. And I think that also has to do with it, that people think like artists or events in general. It's
also hard, like we really want to stay positive, because also for our creative process, in our case, we're artists, we want to make music. If we're like really negative, nothing comes out, you know, no solutions, no music and all. And it's for us, it's hard at a creative level, and just to keep everything going, you know. A lot of colleagues, we're in this business for a long time, so we will survive, you know, but a lot of other artists are really, really struggling. And for you guys as well, you got so many employees and guys working for you, volunteers and all. Do you guys have a plan, or how do you see the future from now on for next year? It's like, it's first time ever that you couldn't organize a festival. It's never happened before, like this. What are the plans, and do you guys have some ideas or solutions to make a festival happen
in
any
different
way?
situations?
Maybe it's good to, like, first of all, address the fact, like, what respond to what, like, Stefan said, of the artists. And I know that maybe the view of some artists and some organizations, the big ones, is like, oh, they were doing well before. And so a lot of people don't realize what happens to create an event, how many people are involved. There's like over 100,000 people working in the event industry whole year round. So they depend on their jobs, and there are like all different kind of people. It's like the people working in the crew catering, the light technician, sound technician, but a lot of big companies like suppliers, for instance, like the ones building the stages, the tents, the wooden floors and everything you can imagine, the fences. There's like so much going on. And all those big companies, they invested a lot of money in their stuff, their equipment. They have lease contracts, they have big buildings, they keep their stuff. And those are the companies who are being hit really hard right now. So they have to lay off a lot of their own staff. There's a lot of self-employed people working in the industry as well. And they work either directly for an organization sometimes, all different organizations they work for, or they work for those companies, the suppliers.
Yeah.
And all those companies, they don't have any work. So that's a very big problem. We don't know which ones will survive and which don't. And the thing is, like, the level of expertise and the quality of all those companies combined with the organizations, and also combined with a lot of the artists and the labels and record labels and stuff in the Netherlands, there's the highest level of the whole world. So all of those specialists as technicians, the VJs and light operators, for instance, they get asked all around the world by all other big events like EDC and in Mexico and Asia. And those people are basically out of work now. So the risk is that they will leave and they go and work for something else, for the construction industry or for whatever they can do. They have to make money, right?
Yeah.
Well, if we come back and we can do events again, then we probably lost a big part of this expertise, and it's very important to try to keep that. Yeah. So that's one thing. It's the event industry is way more than only artists and organizers. It's a whole pool of people and companies who work around it as well, but are less visible, of course, because they're literally behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for people to understand that this scene is not artists or events. It's everything around it, and all the expertise is coming in from people behind the scenes that you don't see, that would have to work hard to pay their bills and now are unemployed and don't make any money and are on the verge of leaving the scene and maybe never come back again because they need income.
Yeah. And then secondly, what's is happening now, and that may be a response to we are not very vocal as a scene, the event industry, and then in the broader sense, so also sports and all kind of different type of events came together in an alliance, and they are like making a lot of plans, which can elaborate later on, and working on a lot of stuff. So for instance, one part of this organization is talking to the government about support, financial support for all event suppliers and all people working in the event industry. There are different regulations. They call it the NOW and the TVL, but those are not. It's not enough for what's happening because the event industry is completely shut down. And despite of some other industries who can still do quite some
Something,
stuff.
yeah.
And because we're talking to the government a lot of ways, you also need the government. So that's why I always is like a cooperation, and we're not like extremely vocal and like going protest and stuff. But at some point, maybe if things really don't work out, you have to do something. And that's why the initiative came out, like what you mentioned, from the artist, but it wasn't really thought through, and the messaging might have been off. So it's really you have to be delicate about it.
Yeah, because you guys also are in a organization front of house.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about that?
Front of House is a collective or a foundation which did gather all the festival organizations in the southern part of the Netherlands from North Brabant together to talk about all the challenge we have all year around to make the festival branch even better. Also, the suppliers are connected right now, and there's a really big pool coming from the southern part of the Netherlands, organizing festivals all over the world. So it's a collective which tries to bring the festival culture in the Netherlands even to a higher level. So most of the time we're talking about positive things and how to make festivals better. And right now we're of course working really hard behind the scenes to bring back the festival life we want to have. With everybody wants to have it back, of course. We want to go back to a normal thing. So we're working on different kind of levels with government, with not the security branches, but also the insurance branches to make it happen that we can organize festivals once again. Because there's no one in our branch who wants to organize a festival right now if it's unsafe for people. Of course, we want to organize festivals only when it's safe for people to attend, not only for the visitors, but also for crew, artists, everyone around. And we know that's important to organize festivals, get back the trust from people that they can go to a safe environment, celebrating life with friends, family, and whatsoever. So we're working hard on that part because of it's necessary because of the vision. There's a lack of vision right now. So I think if we can push, and not by not doing anything anymore, but if we can push because of all the positive effects we create together, when you listen to music and you get the thrill or energy to make things happen, also the celebrating live thing at festivals, connecting to people, the social cohesion, we have to bring it back because that is all, of course, a positive thing. So if we gather our energy, I think with the suppliers, the artists, all the festival organizers in the Netherlands, we have a really big voice, I guess, together. And now we have to think about how we can create a vision together and talk to the government about how can we organize safe festivals in 2021. And how that's done, I'm not sure yet, but there are a lot of smart people, of course, working really hard to make it happen. So it's a difficult time. Nobody can say for sure. And if you're a positive mind, you will say it will be probably next year again. And some are a little bit more pessimistic, but we're in this together. So we need to create some positive energy together to make it happen.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Like the thing is, I want to know what can we do. Like I don't want to be too technical or political about it, but what are some kind of solutions, what we can do to support, just give that, if there's no vaccine towards the end of 2021, can we do something with a smaller amount of people on the outside, or like test you talk, fast test their
rapid testing,
or age age limit, or
something like what are the pros and cons, and what can we do?
There are actually of the Alliance, one of the groups that's working on there. They're called field labs. They're working together with the government and also universities and all kind of medical people as well to investigate different stuff. So different solutions, for instance, rapid testing and all other kind of solutions as well, like air treatment. And there's like a whole myriad. There's also a website about it, which you can see, field labs events. you can put it.
Yeah, we
maybe
put it in
somewhere.
the description later on. Yeah,
And,
that's.
But so there's a lot of stuff being discussed and tested. But the thing is, that's like a very long process if you work together with the government, because usually the people from the government and also like the medical institutions are used to very long processes.
Yeah.
Usually like a very complex investigation takes like 5 or 10 years. And we from the event industry, you want to make it happen now because we want to know now what we're going to do next year.
Yeah.
So that's a thing where you're like trying to struggle to push thing forwards. And then in the meantime, of course, like stuff happens, like the infections rise and fall, and now they're rising again. And then the government is like kind of not really thinking ahead so much, but more reacting to this situation at this moment, like, oh, it's rising now. Oh, we're going to shut down. And that's going, and it's kind of, disturbing the process a little bit.
Yeah.
So that makes it very difficult to really investigate solutions. But like, for instance, rapid testing would be the one that might be the best solution we think of now.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of difficulties about it, logistically, of course.
Yeah.
But that might be a one. If you can test everybody who enters an event and you know that they're free of the virus, then you could be close together again.
Yeah, you can create your own bubble as a festival, if everybody's tested. So
So before that happens, we want to try to maybe have like or there are already protocols in place to give events with a 1.5 separation, so people have to be apart. But of course, those events are very difficult to organize. It's very difficult to make it like financially viable.
Yeah, I
you
think
have so little people.
The event industry, like you guys are talking about, are so important for our country as well, because we're like top notch of the world. Like the artists, the event industry, but also the VJs and the sound technicians, stage builders, designers.
It's an export product.
Yeah, it's a really big export product, and I'm really hoping that our government will support you guys. Just to, if it's not possible to give an event like you guys did before, but in another way, but it's financially, of course, not possible, then the government will help you guys just to keep our scene alive. Just keep that intellect, keep that level of professionalism.
One of the most important things would really help, and that's also a project we are running. We're doing that also in alliance together with other organizations like Mojo Concerts, IDT, people from the insurance, is that from the 27th of February, when the first coronavirus case was found in the Netherlands, the insurance companies cut out their insurance, so you can't insure your event anymore
for
if it gets cancelled because of a virus. And so that's a big problem. So that for the next year, if people want to invest in an event, you have to start like almost a year before and then start increasingly investing more and more. And if you can't insure yourself, it's too big of a risk. So we're working on some kind of like a collective reinsurance, like a pool, where the government can help us by saying, okay, we're going to pay out the insurance companies if they really need it. There are multiple pools like this for in the financial crisis. They made something like that for the banks during the 2001, like the terrorist attacks were in the United States, 9/11. They made something like this in the Netherlands too for terrorist attacks, a pool. So it is possible to make that, and we're working together with the government to make something like that. But also the same thing applies. We want to move forward very quickly, but those processes take a lot of time.
Yeah, because organizing a festival, you guys start 11 months before your event.
Yeah, and of course we're really flexible with it, but the best thing is to start 10, 12 months and maybe sometimes even more years, a year before organizing the event once again. So it takes a lot of time, but we're really flexible. If we know it before a certain time and we prepare everything, we are able to still organize it in a safe way. But of course, it's better to know it earlier. The only thing I guess right now is that we need the acknowledgement of our government, that they speak out really loud all together, that this is a really important industry. Of course, it's luxury that we can go to a festival, but it's also really important for the mindset and for the people to enjoy and also being healthy. So and if that you get that acknowledgement, then you are starting to work together into how can we make it happen.
Yeah.
And if that's being realized, I guess nothing is actually impossible, right?
Yeah.
Because with great minds, smart people, you will invent some things.
Yeah, there's many ways to make it happen in a different way than before. For example, without any tents, but just like open air stages would be something that could be considered. I mean, if the virus doesn't spread out that much or doesn't spread out in open air, then that could be a solution, for example.
Yeah, we have to be really flexible, and that should both go on with the regulations, because most of the time you need 11 months or 6 months at least to get a regulation for your festival. So we need to be a little bit flexible altogether to make the festival happen.
Yeah.
And we need to check out what be the parameters organizing the festivals. Can we talk about age? Disclosing a certain kind of ages, with a bigger risk. Can we do it indoors or outdoors? What should we do if we only put a tent but the sides are open? Those kind of things can bring the risk lower, organizing a festival. And then you of course have maybe vaccines, better medicines. You have of course maybe a little bit of immunity. You have the fast testing.
Yeah.
So all those kind of things are counting into a lower risk organizing a festivals. And then maybe we have to accept sometimes at a certain point of time that there will be always a risk, but we accept that risk. And now we are free again to organize festivals, because we think it's necessary to celebrate life at one point of time, because otherwise the world will be a little bit dull, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's also the reason why it's so popular, you know?
It's very important, I think, events in general, for people to get together, to have the social contact. And also you see it at this time. If you go into Facebook, I go into it way less now, because a lot of people are angry at each other. There's a lot of negative vibe. The whole country, people.
Everybody has so much time to think about all the things they don't like anymore. You know,
they don't see each other face to face. They don't party together. It's very, I think, very important also for like the mental health as well, for people to meet each other. And it can be all kind of events, of course. Some people like maybe a culture event, or
go
food
to
truck event, or a sports event, or a soccer match, or and of course like a dance event. But it's that's really missing right now, I think, for a lot of people. And I think also the event industry can be part of a solution. So we at this moment, a lot of people, not everybody, but they are going to like maybe illegal events as well or something, and then something is spreading. And I think with all the knowledge we have and all the expertise, we can organize stuff way more safely. And then the government can keep track of what's going on, instead of stuff happening somewhere in the woods, and also the government doesn't know what's going on, and stuff might be spreading there. So.
And you will help economics, right?
That's also
the economy.
It's a big economy as well. It's bigger than the for instance, the flights economy of the event industry, and all the players, like all the companies and stuff, are based in the Netherlands, and they call what they call MKB. Most of them are smaller companies, so they spend all the money in the Netherlands as well. So, it's also a very important economic factor.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
Is there something our viewers or listeners can do? Like, for example, you gave the call out that people are not really asking back for their money for tickets. That's something really cool, right? That's a good thing, for example.
It's just the feeling about that people trust that we will organize events in the future again. It's not that we can do anything with the money, because if they want to have it back, they can ask for it. It's a regulation, and it should be that way. So, but it's a good thing we have the trust of the people, that they believe in our product and in the festivals in general. So that's a good thing. Right now, I think it's how hard it even is at this point of time, because we are closed again and nobody knows what will happen. That we should be a little bit more positive about it. It's hard when you are frustrated, but maybe you should talk more about it, or think better how to talk with other people about it, because if it's a negative direction, there won't be a solution, and the world get more polarized again. It will be more black and white, and we should go into the colors, talk more to each other to bring forward solutions.
Yeah.
And the more we do that part, I guess there will be more festivals or events or whatsoever, more freedom again in the future.
Yeah.
But I guess it's really hard if you don't have a job right now, or you're really frustrated that you can go at the stage again, see 50,000 people before you and get that adrenaline kick you had at that point of time. So yeah, it's a difficult, challenging time once again, but we have to stick together, have to follow the regulations. I think that's an important thing. But in the meantime, we have to be really, really thinking straightforward to how to get back to the life we had before all this happened.
Yeah, we will come back, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there will always be like a hunger for these events.
There are already examples right now. Last week there was a big festival in Chengdu in China. I see a lot of artists from the Netherlands flying over, although it's not as it used to be, but they're flying over to perform at Taiwan. They perform at China. They perform. Last week there was a big sort of a rugby game in New Zealand with 50,000 people gathering. So of course we are going back to what it used to be, but we can only go back when it's safe.
Yeah.
So we have to trust the experts that they also want to have the best for us. But the other thing is that we want it way faster than they are able to deliver right now, because they have bigger problems maybe. And the processes are really, really slow. And I think they can use entrepreneurs or creative people helping them out together, bringing the festival season back again.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, I think it's good to end in a positive way as well. So we have to stick together, be creative, and be positive. We got some beautiful stuff as well from you guys. What did you bring? You bring some nice merchandise and a puzzle.
Yeah, puzzle
to help you through the darkest days.
At home,
winter
bored.
is coming, so
you can build your own main stage. So it's something very special. Not many people
and in way less time than you normally would.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's for your fans and for our fans. If you wanna, what do they have to do?
Yeah, good question. Maybe you guys can answer that.
They like a quiz. I think like a good question about WiSH.
Maybe an answer to something we already talked about in the podcast before. Maybe something like, when was the first Intense festival, or when was the first WiSH outdoor festival in Mexico?
Yeah, how many times did D-Block and Estefan play that Intense and WiSH together?
Yeah, that will be a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, both together. Well, yeah. Leave it in the comments below, and we will pick the winner.
Winners, because
winners,
we have many merch from you guys. Thanks for that.
Many merch. We always have some fan questions as well. Rens?
We talked about the biggest challenges as an event organizer, but what is the biggest satisfaction?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. For me personally, it's the response of the crowd. I think the same like what Tim said is at the end of the day when you go and I go to what's also called the front of house where the technical people are and watch the end show, and then the people are really going crazy out of their minds and the fireworks, and if everything goes perfectly, then you're like extremely happy. If one fire, like for instance, one thing goes a little bit the wrong way, you're always like, no, I was
Nobody sees it, you know.
Nobody has a clue that something that went exactly how you planned it, but you do. But in generally, like and then everybody's like clapping and enthusiastic and going home happy. Then you're like, that's really that's the energy where you work whole year for.
And I guess for you also the same after the end show. You go back to your crew catering or your crew village, and everybody's gathering, all the people who did work really hard to make the festival happen, and you gather and you drink a lot of beers and there's some bonfire and everything. It's one of the best things, giving everybody a big high five because of working so hard, making the festival a big success.
And also the opening of the event, I think personally is also very, because you're also always working very hard to build up, and it's getting increasingly difficult. And then right before the opening is very busy. There's a lot of stuff going on to get everything quickly ready. And then at a certain point in time, like the stages start playing, like the DJs already start just before the real opening. Yeah. And then you really get a feeling like, oh, it's like you're walking on air. Then the gates open, people run in. They're like, yeah, we're here, and the start party. So that opening of the event also very special and gives a lot of energy.
Releasing the lineup also really cool, right?
Yeah. Having
that you get the newest talents, but also the big guys at your poster. Also the reaction of people about it. So of course, during the whole process, you have more moments. When you receive the anthem you really like, of course, it would
after
be
movie release.
Those kind of things. But the best thing is, I guess, the end show. Probably always also celebrating it with the most closest friends and family. At some
other people working behind the scenes. Yeah.
Do you also have like a couple of days after the event a moment for yourself that you're like, wow? We
Not
did
really. It's usually the breakdown of the event is very intense, I say that. But it's like we usually build up in 4 weeks, and a few days you have to break everything down. So it's really pop, a lot of work, and then afterwards you have to restore the field, and it all goes one. And we always had, we're changing that. We wanted to change that in 2020. We also had the volunteers party 2 weeks. So we're almost finished with breaking down. We're already building up the volunteers party. And then we had the volunteers party. You have to break down the volunteers party. And you have a lot of stuff going on after the festival, like invoices, stuff that got damaged or lost, and stuff with people who are emailing stuff. So it's very busy after the event. So only after maybe a month or maybe a month and a half, you have like more a little bit of a time, like, and then you look back at pictures and stuff. But first you're still very busy. Well, at least that's how we work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's right. It's also the process that it's taking almost 4 or 5 weeks, really, really intensive work. I guess you work around like 16 till 20 hours each day, those kind of weeks, just to make it happen. So it takes so much time and energy from you that you are only able to really enjoy 1 month after, I guess.
Yeah, that's so different for us, because we have it the day after a festival. We can sit down and, well, sometimes we have
set.
Yeah, or
maybe.
Yeah, but most of the after set when everything goes right, but the day after is always special as well.
You see the review. You probably look on the socials. You see the responses.
Well, it's everything is
settling
in, and and sometimes it's also like last year with so busy summer, so we had so many gigs all around the world, flying back from Asia, and you have to perform as well. So then it's a little bit harder. But
but the cool part is that after every show you have that same moment of
satisfaction,
and that's what I always say to people who ask me, like, oh, isn't your life tiring and isn't it really heavy to do, and then I say, yeah, of course, when you have to fly to the other side of the world for like 24 hours and then be in the plane for like 48 hours, it could be tiring, but you get back energy immediately from the crowd, and every week again, sometimes 2-3 times a week. So that helps you going.
I guess it must feel like scoring the winning goal at the World Championship. That kind of energy, and celebrating together with your team players, it's like that kind of thing, I think.
All right, beautiful.
We got another one. What's the biggest misunderstanding about a dance event?
Ooh, there's you can interpret it many ways. You mean from a visitor's perspective, as a fan? Yeah. Okay. Maybe partly what we already talked about. So how complex, especially an outdoor festival, complex it is to organize, how many moving parts there are. That might be a thing. Also that sometimes we see some reactions. People want to see so-and-so artists and it's not always possible for an event organizers to book everybody they want or to pay everybody they want or something like that. So that's a thing, because like during the event, season, it's like a big puzzle as well. So you have like maybe one artist doing multiple events and they have to go and they can only come in this time slot. So that might be one. I don't know if you have some other things you can think about.
Yeah, no, the same. It's a complex thing of combining all those suppliers, artists, people coming to the festivals together. And it's a really big puzzle.
Yeah.
To make it happen. So
more than 1,000 pieces.
Yeah,
I guess.
of course. Yeah, and the Netherlands, there a lot of people are really because there are a lot of festivals, they are accustomed to it, and it's just normal to get to a festival which is really high quality. So everything has to.
The standard is really
Yeah,
high.
the standard is really high. So I guess because they're taken for general, maybe everybody had to think about it. That it's really special how high the level of festivals or events in the Netherlands are.
Yeah.
Do you think that perspective is changing because of the whole event industry being shut down? That people will recognize all the effort that's put in when the events will be happening again?
I don't know if they see all the effort that's put in, but I think maybe people appreciate it more. That it's like we had something very special, and it's very great if you get it backing, then appreciate it like twice as much and party twice as hard.
I'm visualizing the first time
Yeah.
we have an event again. You know, the first time Intense or WiSH again. That
Already getting boosted.
yeah, it's if you think about it, well, can you imagine the atmosphere and the vibe? It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I mean, for that is maybe a good thing, you know, that there was a year where not much didn't happen because, like you said, people are spoiled in Holland.
I guess a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's the amount of festivals we have here and the high level of the festivals was almost out of this world.
Yeah.
And to now be cut off from the festivals for a year and hopefully getting back to the festivals in 2021 will definitely bring back that excitement level to people like it was before, you know.
Otherwise, we bring in some Mexicans.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can really tell, like if we play in Mexico, for example, we're out of Mexico, you can tell that people don't have that much, so many events, you know, over there. And they're really living, forward for 1 year. They're looking for that one moment that they can celebrate with each other and see their favorite artist at the best stage that they've ever seen, you know. And you can really tell, like, the energy is insane, you know.
Insane.
It's really, really, it's different compared, like, our Dutchies, we're quite sober people. So
We have to drink a little bit.
yeah, we had to drink a little bit more, and we can. We're able to, and that makes. I think that's also what makes us really good in what we do, because we're not easily impressed, and that goes for for a festival, but that also goes for if you're a music producer. You have to really stand out for if you want to make it in Holland, and that's why I think we're really good in what we do. Yeah. Oh. I thought someone was gonna say nah.
Not really.
Not really. Well, okay.
I think we got the statement.
Yeah. We always have a statement, and we don't know what it is, and sometimes it's a little bit controversial, but not that much, really.
No. So this episode's statement is: after COVID-19, a more efficient Dutch dance and event culture will arise.
More efficient. I like to think, during this process, we are more working together with people and also with suppliers, thinking about stuff and how we should organize stuff. So maybe you could say more efficient, at least I think better thought out. And this is also a moment to think about how we're doing stuff. For instance, we are working now a lot on sustainability planning for the next events, and also think about how you do stuff, maybe with stages or shows. It can be something different. You have more time to think about it. So it will change definitely, I think, and probably for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you guys have a lot more time to think over the event you are giving, because normally you only have 12 months or 11 months, and now it's a year longer.
Yeah.
So did that change a lot for your festivals?
Yeah, sometimes you're
terms of
doing
s-
stuff
yeah.
on the fly because you need a specific thing done within the next month because of the whole process, and now you have more time. We do have to be more thoughtful or frugal with spending, for instance, but you do have more time to think about stuff and how to approach stuff. So yeah, that changed a lot, and that's really something, well, that can have interesting results as well. And we are positive about working on that way on our events.
Yeah.
Just really like taking more time to think about stuff. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
How's that for you too?
I think we get an extra burden, of course. To the first festivals have to prove that they're safe and special again, and that people will attend. So I think that will take a little bit of time before we reach into the effective, super special events we will organize in the future for sure. So I think it will take a little bit more time, but of course, right now we are working really hard to get back on that track, and maybe doing even more special things because we're starting from point zero right now, and we try to make the biggest, best festivals in the world again in the future for sure.
And with special, I don't mean like bigger, better, or more, but maybe different.
Yeah,
So
different
this
also,
is a
for
moment
example,
of-
on
yeah.
durability or logistics, or how people can enter the festival, and how you can do a lot of extra things around it. So I think it will be for the better.
I think with us creative people, you come up with a lot of new ideas that you didn't have time to think of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I can't wait to enter either one of your guys' festivals again. Let's hope it's going to be really soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and
Thank
being
you.
open
Thank you
with
for the
us,
invitation.
talking about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And well, if you want to win some of the merchandise, we're going to make, I think, 2 or 3 packages.
Yeah.
And then choose the winners. Comment below how many times in total we played on Intense Festival and WiSH together.
One hint, it's a lot.
It's more than 10.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Count the international editions.
Ooh,
Yes.
the international and ghost stories.
I think that there's not many people who are gonna.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult.
Oh, we gotta make it hard. You know?
Yeah, just the D-Block and Fun shows on WiSH and Intense Outdoor.
right,
Yeah,
all right.
that will be the easiest, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, and
Yeah.
see you next month on a new episode of Music Made Addictz.
Yes. See ya. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Music Made Addictz.